It's an offshoot of the hero's journey. It's the young person who decides they're going to go into the fray and fight for the people they believe in. A person decides they're going into politics. They're going to go and take on the folks, the establishment, the bad guys who are doing bad things to their people, and fight for their people on the inside and go toe to toe with those folks. This politician's version of the hero's journey is former Senator Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona. And as this goes with many of these folks who go into politics and many of them on the national stage, she's now facing allegations of misusing campaign funds for personal travel and luxury items and potentially violating federal laws in the process. Let's start with some allegations. The lavish expenditures include spending over $100,000 on travel and expenses after she said she was going to not run for re-election. So the money she raised for her campaigns was spent on things after she said she wasn't going to campaign anymore, but spent on really big things after she said so. These included things like luxurious trips. Luxurious is not the word we're using this day. California's wine country and to Europe, where she paid for chartered flights, big hotels, and meals that don't really have any work or official business or campaign related to this issue. Remember, she stopped saying she was going to run in 2024, March 2024, and they kept spending money. And of course, one really big one was 3 weeks after she said she's retirement in April. She spent $3,000 on Rome and Italy alone, running through Milan and Rome and Italy and just having a grand old time, but not really doing anything that seemed like it was for the people, for Congress, for us, U.S., just having a nice vacation after she said she's retiring at the end of her session and spending the money that she'd be using for her campaign pre-retiring. There's a complaint with the FEC based off Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, putting that complaint with the Federal Election Commission, basically saying it's a flagrant and serious violation of the Federal Election Campaign Act, essentially spending your campaign money on things that aren't campaign-ish. And this is going to be referred maybe to the DOJ. It's going to see what happens, whether they can do that. That's what the FEC will do. They'll basically look at the actual account and figure whether it needs to be investigated further with the DOJ and basically have some consequences. This is actually a big deal. And right now the ball's in the FEC's hands to deal with. Kyrsten Sinema, who left the Senate under clouds of suspicion, is just one way to put it, essentially realizing she wasn't going to be reelected in Arizona as a Democrat, going independent, and then realizing she wasn't going to be reelected anyway because people didn't seem to like her, which happens also a story for many politicians. Your like or dislike for Kyrsten Sinema, she was definitely a entertaining person on Congress as one of the members of the two heads that basically butted with the Democrats whenever they could, her being Kyrsten Sinema, him being Joe Manchin. Democrats who, well, Manchin more or less played like a conservative Republican. Sinema was just Sinema, seemingly in it for herself and not for the people she said she would pledge for. The hero became the villain that they despise in this case, as opposed to running out time and dying before they can achieve anything. This is what the story of Kyrsten Sinema's hero's journey looks like to my eyes. Your eyes may vary. You may still be in love with Kyrsten Sinema, or you may have never loved her at all. Let me think about what you think about this actual politician. We bitch and complain about Republicans all the time. Kyrsten Sinema, who is no longer in the House and fair game to be bitched and complained about, is there. Your thoughts on Miss Sinema?